Welcome back to another MCLT R&R, and today we're doing the 4th season of Dexter. After the event of the 3rd season, we wiped down almost everything that happened, except obviously the marriage, the pregnancy, and Deborah being with Anton. Dexter is now a real family man, as we are now 6 months later after Miguel's death and Harrison is born. So let's jump right in with an extended review of the first episode. Episode 1. We start with another homage of the scene of the first season, but now Dexter is driving Harrison back home. At the same time, we are introduced to an unknown character filling up a bath. A woman entered and sees this man who she obviously don't know. He's then strangling her, cutting her thigh with a razor blade in the bath. We quickly understand that this is the new villain of this season. They don't waste any time showing us that this is a horrible killer. We are now the next morning and we have this funny scene where they are recreating the intro. Missing the mosquito, putting his white shirt stained with baby vomit, and breaking his laces while putting his shoes on. Now Dexter is ready to go to work, but he seems completely drained by this new lifestyle, while Rita feels the complete opposite.
Carpools and swimming pools. How much are we living the dream?
So much.
Deborah now lives with Anton and they seem happy. Dexter is now in court and let a murderer walk free by bringing the wrong file, making him look like a fool. It shows us that Dexter is not as meticulous and professional as he was in the previous seasons. And Quinn is pissed. Deborah still searching through Harry's CI to find who he was sleeping with, which we don't care. With the birth of Harrison, we come to the conclusion that Dex didn't fulfill his need in a long time.
Quinn's a good cop. I need a good kill. And sometimes one just falls into your lap.
Then they're called on the crime scene that we saw at the beginning of this episode. A woman in a bloodbath, literally, trying to figure out if it's a suicide or a murder. We are then introduced to a new character, Christine, a reporter for the Miami newspaper. Quinn instantly becomes interested in her, and not in a professional way. Dex is then doing some research on the guy Benito that he let walk free earlier, trying to fix his mistake. Suddenly we see Batista and La Guardia in a hotel room. A new romance is established. Dex is then back to the bloodbath crime scene to complete his blood work, when he finds older blood under the linoleum. And at the same time, one of my favorite characters is back. Lundy is asking about this case and tells Dexter he'll drop by the station later. Again, we see Deborah searching the past life of her father and we couldn't care less. As we saw Batista and La Guardia earlier, they feel obliged to tell us that he's not with Gianna anymore. We don't need this as we understand Batista wouldn't cheat on someone, especially knowing that he lost his former wife like this. Dex is prepping the kill room in a old boxing building and is ready to do the ritual on Benito. He falls asleep while waiting to sedate him and misses his chance, again showing that this new lifestyle is jeopardizing his hobby, returning home to Rita and Harrison.
Want to know a secret? Daddy kills people. Well, bad people. Not really anybody else I can tell about that, you know?
The Miami Metro are on a case of tourists being murdered that will follow for most of the season, while Dexter is searching the case of the old blood and finds out it's related to an older case from 30 years ago. Now retired, Frank Lundy asks Dexter some help on this case that he's investigating for a while now.
I call him the Trinity Killer. Kills in threes. Been doing it all over the country for years. Problem is, I can't prove he exists.
He explains that this new crime scene might be related to this Trinity Killer, as it fits his modus operandi.
He's back where his killing began. 30 years. You know what this means?
Trinity's the most successful serial killer to ever get away with it.
Dexter is now intrigued. Deborah sees Lundy and a flow of emotions kicks in. At night, Dexter brings Benito to his kill room and as he's about to complete the ritual, Rita calls asking him to go to the pharmacy right now. He's rushing it and pack the trunk. Dexter is sleep deprived, and on his way home, we conclude the episode as he falls asleep and have a major accident. This is the first episode and I won't go step by step for each one, but I thought it was important here to understand where he is now, what changed or not in his surroundings, his motivation, to fully understand this season. If you didn't watch this season and my long resume of the first episode grabbed your attention, I strongly suggest you to watch it, because here the spoiler alert, as I will go through the 11 other episodes of this season, exposing the twists and turns and what worked for me and what didn't. Review. During this season, I think the case of the Trinity Killer is awesome. We are still in a story that doesn't involve Dexter to his core, but this time is well needed. Dex feels affected by his newborn and it makes him more human to our eyes. Dexter is escorted in an ambulance and is scared that the cops will find pieces of Benito. But no. He is escaping the hospital and again lying to Rita. At the same time, we have the Trinity Killer hunting his next victim. Dex skips work to go see his wrecked car to only find his tools. He goes back to the accident site and still no sign of Benito. LaGuardia pulls up the newspaper and Christine wrote an article on the vacation murders. And Quinn feels bad that the info he gave her ended up on the front page. Deborah and Lundy talk again and she's still disturbed. Then talk about this bathtub case she leads. Dexter is still trying to find a chopped up body, but the accident left a hole in his memory.
What would I do if I couldn't properly dispose of a body? I'd hide it. I investigate crime scenes all the time. My crime scene. It's giving me nothing.
Dexter still sees Harry's ghost and he tried to help him remember. Deborah confronts Lundy, telling him that she is with Anton now and he understands, but is not here to rekindle their relationship.
The reason I'm in Miami is because I'm convinced that these bathtub murders are connected to a series of murders all over the country.
I gotta go. I'm an idiot.
Deborah.
This new romance between LaGuardia and Batista is shown to be complicated, as they hide it from everyone. While their nonsense is going on, we see the Trinity Killer talk to the woman he stalked earlier. Asking her name, seeing where she lives, it reveals how meticulous he is and how innocent he can appear to be. The character, to us, is already evolving and establishing strong traits. Again, Dexter is back to Benito's key room and remember where he stashed him, and drop him in the Gulf Stream to ultimately have a good night of sleep. At night, the Trinity Killer brings his newest victim to a shipping yard where he forces her to jump to her death, completing his second murder in the cycle of 3. The neighborhood vandal is still active and Dexter uses his forensic skill to help his community, but mostly to bring the peace back so he can blend in again. Batista gives the jumper case to Deborah and Dexter as Lundy predicted another woman after the one in the bathtub.
What I did was suggest that if Trinity held to his pattern, we could expect to see another woman die soon.
What else?
I'm very curious to know if there was a similar death at this site 30 years ago.
I make my bodies disappear. Trinity leaves his out in the open, supremely confident that no one will ever trace them to him. Decade after decade.
Dex is already beginning to be obsessed with him. After work, instead of going home peacefully, he finds himself in a neighborhood watch meeting. As Dex analyzes the fingerprints of the presumed vandal, he finds out that it might be his neighbor's son. Deborah does what she do best, investigate and go through 30-year-old cases and find that their jumper, as Lundy suggests, might be a victim of this Trinity Killer.
30 years ago to the week, female, Caucasian, 36, mother of 2, jumped to her death off the same warehouse.
We finally see LaGuardia and Batista do some police work as they're searching the suspects of the vacation murder, and come to the conclusion, after gunshots, that they're the killers. Then Dexter decides to take care of this vandal, but it doesn't go as planned. After escaping the neighborhood watch, we see Dexter back to work with Lundy, and he explained the meaning behind the name he gave him.
Always the same 3 kills with Trinity. A young woman in a bathtub, followed by a mother falling to her death, and ending with a man getting bludgeoned.
How many times that you know of?
I've got the bits and pieces that add up to at least 15 cycles. Sure, there are considerably more.
Dex is now fascinated by him.
Wow, that's impressive. In a very evil way.
Christine, the reporter, keeps on trying to get infos from Quinn, as is blinded by her beauty. We see Lundy investigate Trinity, and again shows us how much he is good and dedicated to his job, even if retired.
Then I found San Francisco, Louisville, Detroit, Richmond, 8 different cities in all that I know of. Never the same place twice.
Night 2 of trying to catch this vandal, and Dexter finds out that it's not the son, but the father. He completes what he started for the community's good, but mostly for himself.
If you so much as touch another window, I will come back here and I will leave with your head in a bag.
After fulfilling his need of peace in his neighborhood, he must now fulfill another one, his need of killing. He's now investigating who could be the next victim, a cop who killed her husband and daughter. We got Batista and LaGuardia as they're talking about the relationship, and she wants to disclose it to her superior, but Batista wants to wait. It is really annoying as we don't care that much about it, even Dexter don't care.
Because once you define it, it's defined. It's officially official.
Quickly after, Dex finds evidence who will put this cop on his table. As Lundy is closer and closer to recreate the Trinity cycle from 30 years ago, we got this surprising scene where the killer sees Lundy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wasn't watching where I was going.
No damage done.
Lundy, being this good, automatically have a hunch on this old man.
White male, maybe 6'4", age around 60. Hair gray, eyes blue. Something in them.
Then Dex is pulled over for no reason. He sees that it's the cop is planning to add on his blood slices collection. And she tells him that she knows he's investigating her and to let this go. It's nice to see that Dexter is not almighty, as almost all his victims doesn't know he exists before being on his table. By doing so, he decides to use a different approach with her.
I asked you nicely to leave me alone.
You threatened me.
You think that was a threat?
When are you gonna murder me too? Like you murdered your family?
She knows where Dexter lives. Rita and the kids are out of town, so he pick her brain and make her come to his house the very same night. Dexter shows us that he is very intelligent and that he knows how a devious mind works. An upside he desperately needed after all the failures in the beginning of the season. Deborah folded and slept with Lundy, and she feels so bad for cheating on Anton. But that's when we have a major twist that made me scream, "No!" The death of Lundy. What a turn of event. I didn't see it coming, and I'm kinda good at that. Dexter finds out that Deborah was shot and Lundy's dead. Like a good brother, he goes to the hospital with her. Again, Christine pops up and asks Quinn what happened and tells him that she's here for him. Then she turns to Batista for a quote who will ultimately end in the newspaper. That's when the gears are starting to turn for Dexter, as he steals Lundy's notes and begin his hunt for the Trinity killer.
Over 30 years of killing.
The cycle, the ritual. They tell me where Trinity will be, but I have to know who I'm looking for.
At the hospital, Deborah tells Anton that she slept with Lundy. Then he goes away. For good. Dex is now fully investigating Trinity, as we see him plan his third victim of the cycle. Then the Lundy's tape describe who he encountered, and Dex understands that he didn't describe this man in vain.
Something in them.
Lundy saw a ghost.
LaGuardia and Batista finally arrest the woman behind the vacation murders, and they also bring her to the station for the murder of Lundy, as he was killed with the same MO. Dex is still on the hunt for Trinity. He knows where he will hit next and have a pretty clear idea what he look like. Being late by minutes, Dexter follows him now. While Lundy described him as a lone wolf who surely doesn't stay at the same place for a long period of time, we got another incredible turn of event.
He doesn't belong here. It doesn't make sense.
Hi, honey.
Lundy was wrong. Trinity's a husband, a father. He's like me.
Dexter learned Trinity's schedule by heart as he's called on the crime scene of his latest victim. Then, Dex finds something on the wall.
He moved the arm for a reason.
Gimme. That's okay, I got it.
Showing us that Dexter is not only a good forensic, but a great detective, as he always finds something that would stay unnoticed. Masuka comes with the news that he found 2 DNA, one from the ashes and one from saliva. Still following Trinity, whose real name is Arthur Mitchell, Dex is trying to figure out how he did it.
Arthur's kept this up for what, 28 years? My family may not last 20 minutes. Warmth, intimacy, he's convincing. But he's like me, how does he do it?
He is now trying to learn from him. So he decides to befriend him as Kyle Butler. Dex is now at the Four Walls charity project created by Arthur and is trying to know more and more about him. Then start to talk to his son, Jonah. Deborah's back to work now and finds out that some of Lundy's notes on Trinity are missing. At the same time, we have La Guerra and Batista talking to their superior about their relationship. We still don't care. With Masuka's find, Dex is searching through the police database and finds what he was looking for, the motive of Trinity.
Vera Mitchell, sister of Arthur Mitchell, found dead in a bathtub. Sister, mother, father. He's recreating their deaths, decade after decade.
He decides to look further and go to Mitchell's house. Then he decides to put his theory to the test.
Don't touch my sister. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Christine is trying to have an interview with Deborah about the fact that she survived like a hero, but she don't want any of this. After the event with the urn, Archer and Kyle are getting closer. Dex still wants to know how Mitchell sustained his dark passenger and his family life so perfectly. Deborah pitched the Trinity killer to La Guerra and things go in motion, using Lundy's research.
50 to 70 years old.
So we're looking for a potentially retired old white guy in Miami?
Dex is pissed because everybody will be looking for Trinity and he wants him all for himself. But mostly because he wants to learn as much as possible from him before putting him on his table. Showing that Dex is slowly losing himself and the code as he could have killed him already. But he sees him as a reference for being a successful serial killer. Dexter's back to Arthur's again. We are beginning to wonder if he will ever kill him after all. They are becoming closer friends with each day passing by. All that time together is beginning to show that the mask of Arthur is slowly cracking. He's not all that perfect after all. Arthur is planning another Four Walls build in another city, and Dex knows that it's the beginning of another cycle. So Dex decides to join him. And at the same time, the Miami Metro are making progress on Trinity's case. Arthur and Kyle stop to eat and Dex tells him that he killed someone accidentally. Arthur is surprised but wants to help Dexter. Once at their final destination, Dex is ready to end Mitchell's spree. But Arthur have other plans.
Change your plan for tomorrow. We're not going to the build. I got a surprise for you instead.
I don't like surprises.
You'll like this one.
Meanwhile, we have cringe scenes like this one. Again, Christine is using Quinn and find out a citywide buccal swap. It shows us how dedicated she is to not only find stories, but to keep Quinn under spell. Dex and Arthur are now heading to this surprise. They are inside the home Arthur grew up and reveal his biggest secret.
I never told anyone any of this.
Why did you tell me?
So you'd know you're not alone.
Mitchell is really beginning to see a true friend in Kyle, showing that he is not like Dexter. Remember what happened to Miguel when Dexter opened up? Christine is now confronting Deborah about the saliva test, and she plays dumb, deciding to make her drop it by accepting the interview she was creating for. Deborah is again a good detective and asks Masuka to help her find the height of her shooter. Trinity was described to be 6'4".
My height, approximately.
Then it wasn't Trinity.
Dexter prepped Arthur's kill room, and as he's ready to sedate him, he finds him missing. Then we got this jaw-dropping moment where Dexter finds him at the 4-wall site, ready to jump.
No, you're mine.
This isn't how you die.
Let go!
Why keep him alive just to kill him? As long as it's by my hand.
He couldn't let him end it all here. But Dexter is showing a new trait: selfishness. He only cares about himself and what killing him will do to his dark passenger. He was saying to end his killing spree to help saving lives, but it's all BS. A few days pass and Dexter is following Jonah, who's storming out of the Mitchell residence. It shows us how much he's afraid of Arthur without telling us. From the outside they seem like a happy family, but breaking down the car only revealed that this tension was building up for a long time. Then he opens up to Dexter. Dex decides to ditch Thanksgiving with his family to go to Arthur's. After Jonah exposed domestic violence, he wants to see for himself. Christine drops at the office and wants to talk to Quinn, but she ends up talking to Deborah and say this.
I can't even imagine looking into the eyes of the person you love, watching as he takes his last breath.
Dexter is investigating the abuse in Mitchell's house. At the same time, Jonah is back with the wrecked Mustang, and Arthur makes his son pay while Dexter is looking around. Showing us how much control he has over his family and how good he is to hide everything to everyone. While the tension is constantly rising, we have another scene of Batista and La Guardia that we don't care about.
And I love you. I love you. I love Maria Esperanza de Alma La Guardia.
It's not romantic. We don't feel their connection. It just feels like something to fill the gap between scenes. Finally, Jonah decides that enough is enough, and Dexter cannot just stand by.
You and Vera.
Don't.
What an incredible scene. Kyle's mask is falling off and Dexter is showing his true colors.
Get the off him!
I should have killed you when I had the chance.
Understanding that his selfishness was about to cost the lives of Arthur's family, we think he will bring him to his table right away, but decide to wait again. Another big mistake. Deborah's at Dexter's for Thanksgiving and Cody make her realize something.
Did you see that guy die?
Watched him take his last breath. How did she know that?
Then she asked Quinn if he talked about this to Christine, but he didn't. A few moments later, we have another incredible turn of event after Quinn leaves Christine's apartment.
Joey.
Hi, Dad.
What? Still 3 episodes to go and it's getting crazier by the minute. A day or so later, Dexter is following Arthur, who's kidnapping a young boy. Dex is no longer hiding from Jonah and asks everything he can give him information-wise about his father. After some research, Dex finds out that in each of Arthur's cycle, a young boy was missing. Deborah have now a hunch that Christine is somehow linked to the death of Lundy and decide to interrogate her during the interview, getting lies after lies from her, only confirming her theory. Then Deborah asks her toothbrush from Quinn's apartment. Dex is now driving himself crazy trying to find this young boy, and after a day finally find where he was remained captive, but again, a couple minutes late. Then he figures out where they should be by now.
Alive.
Dex saved a life, which is interesting because we always see him take one. But now, Arthur's gone. Christine's now old up and Masuka finds that she's related to Trinity. But the fact that they don't have foolproof evidence, they must let her go. Again, we have time-consuming garbage with Batista and LaGuardia.
They sent this up to me for a whole other reason. A half hour before, the security cameras recorded this.
Hear me out. We have the greatest foe Dexter ever had. We got this amazing twist with Christine being related to Arthur, and some great detective works by Deborah being tossed for some bullshit about a relationship that we don't care. As Arthur is now looking for Kyle Butler's address, Dexter decides for some reason to frame another man for Trinity's crime. That's a bummer because yes, Dexter wants him all for himself and don't want the Miami Metro to find him, but is losing precious time to track him down and hand him, which is what he wants. I don't understand why. Later on, Dexter is called on a crime scene and it's nice to see him question himself again.
What's his name?
Kyle. Kyle Butler.
Arthur Mitchell's in Miami, and he's looking for me. Another death of an innocent man that I'm responsible for.
Christine, after disappointing Dad, contacts Deborah to come clean. Then she kills herself. It was predictable as she said nothing to the station, but now all of a sudden she's ready to give it all up. But it's still a great turn of event, showing how much she was mentally screwed by Arthur. Mitchell succeeds on telling Dexter back to his job, and we have this heart-stopping scene that made me jump out of my seat.
Hello, Dexter Morgan.
Oh my God! The level of confidence Arthur have is through the roof. The mess Dexter made by pinning Trinity's work on someone else bite him right back. He couldn't have walked in the station otherwise.
He knows my name, occupation. He can find out about my family. My family. What the hell have I done?
Dex shot himself in the foot, in the leg, in the arm, anywhere. Dex is now following Trinity after leaving the station, and finally succeed to sedate him. Another point that don't seem to work well for me is when Dexter hit another car, real fast.
Hey! Gotta go!
Man!
And this guy is out of his car, looking at Dexter from the back. Still, he finds him, bring cops, and tell them that's him.
Hey, that's him. That's the prick.
Who, me?
You hit my car. Learn how to drive, you idiot.
It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, and Dex drive a Ford Escape, a wildly common car. You can say that he grabbed his plate number, but let's look again.
Hey! Gotta go!
Man!
No way got into his car, grab his plate number, follow him, bring cops, and identify him.
Hey, that's him.
I'm blown away by the level of stupidity the writers had while writing this scene. It only feels like they needed something to make the season last. This put aside, Dexter is now held for a hit and run and later on come back to Arthur's van. who's now empty. Deborah finally closed Lundy's case and she's back searching who her father was screwing with. Which we don't care, but one of them bring her to their hookup location.
That was her name, Laura Moser. She had 2 little boys.
Then Deborah connected the dots. Laura Moser, Brian Moser, and finally Dexter Moser. It is interesting, but nothing really happened with this. Dexter is still trying to find Arthur, while Astor and Cody are going to Disney with Paul's parent. That's hot. Rita and Harrison are going to the Florida Keys for a honeymoon with Dexter, but he has some work to finish before joining them.
Wish I could go with you right now.
Me too.
I just got a few loose ends to tie up at work and I'll see you tonight.
Can't wait.
Finally, Dexter got a hold on Arthur's for the last time. Still, the writing have some issues.
Where's my f***ing oil cap?
Hello, Arthur Mitchell.
How did he find him? How could he remove the hard cap without Mitchell knowing? It feels like they needed it to end now. And what's better than off-screen action? Instead of showing us all the BS of Batista and LaGuardia, they could have shown us how incredibly efficient and determined he is to find the Trinity Killer. But nope. Then Dexter figured out something about himself.
I have a family too, Arthur. I'm good for them.
Finally, Dexter completed the ritual on Mitchell and dropped him in the Gulf Stream, like any of his Dark Passenger's victims. Then he goes home, ready to pack his bag to join Rita and Harrison, when he listened to a message on his cell phone. Dexter is now calling Rita to let her know that he's ready to join them. As he hears cries, he opens the light. He sees Harrison sitting in a pool of blood, turn his head and see Rita lifeless in a bloodbath. We thought Dexter succeeded, but Arthur made one last victim. This is the most epic twist of this series until now. Your heart stop and your jaw drop. I obviously jumped some stuff, but if you want the entire story, like Quinn Who Stole Some Money, Dexter and Rita's couple therapy, Batista almost being transferred, Jonathan Farrell entire storyline, Elliot, Rita's neighbor, Batista getting closure on a whole case, and Christine be a daddy's girl being rejected numerous times. I suggest you to watch it, it brings meats around the bone. Final thoughts. The writing of the 4th season is good until it's bad, and it's unforgivable. I don't understand why they removed Batista's girlfriend from the previous season, as their relationship was well established, compared to this out-of-place romance with LaGuardia, going back and forth for no reason until they're married. Let's suppose the actress couldn't return for this season. Even off-screen romance would have been better. We could have seen LaGuardia evolve as she's the same from start to finish. She even could have been removed from the season and nothing would have changed. Arthur Mitchell is an incredible character. We don't necessarily care about him, but we're intrigued every time he's on screen. He has strong character traits and make him unique. We cannot compare him to anyone else. He is the Trinity Killer. And John Lithgow steals the show more than once. The last twist is memorable, but after analyzing it, it feels like they forced Dexter not to kill Arthur, only to have a bigger punch in the last episode. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice to see Dexter losing something he cared about, but the build-up to it was weak. Dexter feels like an empty character and only wants to be another version of Arthur. Since the first time Lundy talks about him, he is fascinated by his decades of activity. to finally have a sort of character growth as he understands he don't have to be like Arthur, and that he can be happy with his family. Psych! This season have a very small impact on Dexter's personal life and behavior until the very last minute. Yes, he is a father, but we barely see him with Harrison. Yes, Rita dies, but we only have the repercussion in the next season. We watch him becoming a better dog detective, but other than that, we have him repeat the same character arc as in season 3, as he killed Pharaoh, who was in fact innocent. Deborah, on the other hand, is really becoming what we expect from her. A freaking badass detective. Everyone's telling her to let go of this and that, but she never backed down and always finds the truth. Her dialogue are also way better. She still have a loud mouth, but not in a stupid way. Quinn was showed as a good cop in season 3, but now is only being used by Christine or Deborah. The fact that he stole some money is a bit useless, as Dexter doesn't care, so do we. They realize he needed to do something else than sleep with Christine, but that's not what he should have done. It would have been interesting to see him find that Christine is hiding something. Instead, we only have this on 2 legs. Masuka is here and there to only give Miami Metro answered when they needed them. Other than that, we can easily forget is even in the show. I give Dexter season 4 the note of 7.5 out of 10. 8 seemed a bit high and 7 seemed a bit low, so right in the middle. Arthur Mitchell is really saving this season. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? How did you react to the death of Lundy? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, it's always nice, and subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this one. Thank you for watching, it was Kevin MCLT, see you next time.